Well, hello, my lovely book friends. So, we're going to consider this a little prequel to the reading vlog, okay? I will tell you guys right now that this is going to be a multiple book reading vlog, okay? So, if that sounds chaotic and something you don't want to indulge in, I understand because that's crazy. I am a multiple book reader, and I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. So, I'm saying that now just so that you have the opportunity to say, pause. That's too much for me. I'll watch a different video because I get it. Now, I have an arc on my Kindle that I started probably 2 weeks ago now. And long story short, my Kindle charger was in one bag, my Kindle's been in another, and I have not taken the time to charge her. Okay. She was like dead. So now that we're charged up and back in the game, we can get back to reading this arc, The Battle of the Bookshops. Two of my Libby holds came available at the same time. One is Hexed by Emily McIntire, which is the 6th book in the Never After series. I've read all the other ones. This is the final one. So that will close out a series for me in this calendar year, which is one of my reading goals for 2025. I've been wanting to read Hexed, but I felt like because this one's a lot thicker than the other Never After books, I felt like I would stay a little bit more focused if I had the audiobook version. And I had the audiobook versions of Scarred, Twisted. Actually, I had the audiobooks of all of the other books except Hooked. And I enjoyed reading and listening to all of them. So I'm hoping that it'll be just the same experience. Now, I have started Hexed. I do have it on audiobook on Libby, and I have the physical book of Hexed. I did read the prologue and I went ahead and read chapter 1. Looks promising. So I'm excited about that. Also, I'm reading The First Ladies by hold on. I didn't want to get their names incorrect, but it's the authors that did The Personal Librarian. And if you know, you know, that's one of my favorite books. I loved The Personal Librarian. But Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray. I didn't want to get their names wrong, but we're reading this one as well. So yes, guys, this is going to be a multiple book reading vlog. And to be honest, this probably most likely going to be like a part 1, part 2 situation. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know, guys. We're just going to we're going to see what the vibes are. But I just want you guys to understand that like, this is really like very realistic of a reading vlog for me. I like reading multiple books. I've said that in multiple videos before, so that's like not necessarily a new thing. But the reason I like to do that is because I am such a chronic mood reader that, like, for example, right now, I don't really want to read Hex and I don't want to read First Ladies, which I have already started this one as well. I'm actually a few chapters into this one. I did want to wait until we started the vlog, but I was like, I don't want to wait till nighttime to start reading this. So yes, I have started this book, which we'll talk about Hex and the First Ladies more in the morning. I just want to read The Battle of the Bookshops. It's a little bit cozier than the First Ladies and Hexed, and though it's not necessarily my fullest cup of tea, it's cozy and I'm just feeling the cozy vibe. So I'm literally about to put on something on the TV just to have like a cool little background going. We're going to read this one. Now, in The Battle of the Bookshops, I am 34% in, and I know part of it was I was just having a hard time with this book. Like, again, it's not really my fullest cup of tea. Like, it's not bad, but it's just not something I would grab. In fact, the only reason I really wanted to read this arc was just to have the adventure of reading it, knowing it's not my fullest cup of tea. I still want to be open-minded and just give it a shot and see how I feel about it. But it is a cozy book and it's cute. It's cute, you know. And that's just kind of the vibe. Something a little bit more lighthearted, something that I can just kind of ease myself into sleep. I'm not saying this is going to put me to sleep. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying like I can read a few chapters, kind of relax and go to sleep. You know, I feel like reading something like Hexed, I'm not going to feel like that at all. And The First Ladies, I'm already enraptured by the book. So like I would stay up all night, and like that's just not the vibe right now. You know, like these are good books for like while I'm out doing things tomorrow. You know what I mean? But Battle of the Bookshops is something I want to just like sit in my Kindle and read. Now, typically at this point in the video, I would montage myself reading, but I'm not going to do that because quite literally I want to decompress. I just want to be with my book and my cute little Snoopy background that we're about to find on YouTube. And yeah, I don't necessarily want to think about this vlog. No offense, guys. I just wanted to at least give you guys a little bit of a heads up that that's kind of what we're doing this reading vlog. That's how it's going to look. And the fact that I have already started all 3 of these books, so it's not going to be like a fresh start. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not far in any of these books at all, but like I will kind of catch you guys up to speed in the morning about where I am with these books, and we're just going to kind of see how the weekend goes. But I just wanted to give you guys at least that little heads up. But yeah, we're gonna just go ahead and read and go to sleep. But by the time you see me, it's tomorrow, and we would have started our reading vlog officially. So until then, I'll see you guys in the morning. Bye. Okay, Alexa, turn on my light. Okay. Oh gosh, never gets easier. That whole transition from dark to light just never gets easier. My goodness. Okay, so I look twice as much of a chia pet now as I did the last time y'all saw me. But it's fine because I just woke up and still trying to make sense of the world. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, I'm reading The Battle of the Bookshops on my Kindle just for a little bit. My TV always automatically stops in the middle of the night, so I'm gonna put a background back on here. We're gonna talk about the book in a little bit, but just know at this point I'm 39% into the book. And that's because I read a good chunk of it, like last night and the night before. But we have a lot to do today. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to set a timer for like 30 minutes. Just read for 30 minutes straight, maybe 45, we'll see. Okay, so we've read for about 30 minutes and now I'm like 44% in the book, The Battle of the Bookshops. And we're just gonna stop here because it is time to get up and do some stuff. But just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a backdrop of the book, it's about this girl named Jules, and Jules comes back to her hometown because her aunt had recently had like an accident where she fell. I can't remember what happened. I think she like had tripped or something, and she's older. She's her great aunt actually. She tripped, fell, and broke her arm and leg. And like when you're older, you know, like breaking bones just is not, you know, is definitely something serious. So Jules basically leaves her job in London and she comes back to New York to take care of her aunt, because her aunt is running a bookshop that has been in the family for like generations. And like in Aunt Flo's condition, her name is Aunt Flo. In Aunt Flo's condition, she simply just can't run the shop by herself. So Jules just comes back to help her out. She's hoping like it'll be a couple of weeks, right? Just like getting her back on her feet, getting things settled, and then she'll go back. Basically, things took a turn where like she was gonna have to stay much longer than she planned. She ended up getting fired from her job because her boss was just like, okay, well, since you're not returning, bye. But her job was already like one of those toxic workplaces prior to her having to leave. So like it was kind of expected, you feel me? So anyway, she comes back, she's helping Aunt Flo. And then not too long into the book, what she realizes is there's something being built across the street from the bookstore. And so she's just like, oh, cool, a business, right? No, it's another bookshop, and it's being run by this family that's been beefing with this family for hundreds of years, right? So the bookstore across the street is being run by Roman Montbeau, is his name. And Roman Montbeau is literally like made from money. His family still has a lot of that family fortune. Like there's still a lot of old money there. Roman also was very successful in the publishing world, so he has his own money, but he also does come from family money. Jules's family once was also a very wealthy family, but in their legacy, there were a lot of people that just didn't take very good care of finances and wealth, and they're just not in that position anymore. So at one point, both of these families held a lot of the cards of this town. It very much so was like, you know, these two families owned pretty much most of the land and most of the businesses, and so they were both like equally wealthy and just beef. And they explained what the beef was early in the book, and I've already forgotten what it was, but they've been beefing, all right? And it's been like for decades, okay? This ain't no new beef. It's been beef for forever. And so Jules and Roman are running bookstores across the street, bookshops across the street from each other. And mind you, there's a past between the two of them. So like Jules apparently, like when she was 16 years old, had like this really embarrassing moment where she had like toilet tissue stuck to her foot, and Roman and his friends were there and they like all laughed at her, and like they were like the cool hot guys in high school, and she was like kind of the weird quirky, not quirky, but just like the weird shy little girl, right? And so like for some reason this memory still haunts her bad to this day, okay? And so like she's like really embarrassed that like she's still affected by it, and also she's just like, I cannot believe it's Roman. It's like all these things. So it's like honestly very cute in theory. I think what got me on the cheesy front is the fact that like this is giving R&J. Okay, like it's very much so a cute comedy spin on Romeo and Juliet, because Montbeau and Capelthorne. Okay, if you know anything about R&J, I keep saying R&J. I call Romeo and Juliet R&J for short, because like personally I love Romeo and Juliet. It's my favorite Shakespearean play, as well as it's also my favorite ballet. I did Romeo and Juliet back in high school, the ballet. And so it's I love it. But anyways, so like I've always called it R&J for short, just because like anyways, that's that. So it's definitely got that spin of R&J, and like her name is Jules and his name is Roman. Like, okay, guys, okay. It's like in this little town, I think it's called Portneath. Portneath is the name of the little town that they're all in. And mind you, like Roman as well grew up in this town. Like they both grew up, they both left their jobs to come back and kind of like sort out some family stuff and run these bookshops. Now in Roman's case, he built the bookshop, and in Jules' case, she's coming back to save the bookshop. Now Capricorn had a monopoly on the bookshop market in Portneath, so this is like completely destroying like Jules's attempt at coming back, helping Unflow, and getting business back off the ground. Because when Jules comes back home to Portneath, what she realizes is that Unflow and the bookshop have been suffering for quite a while, in fact. So she's having to kind of like work a little bit backwards, as well of just kind of like seeing what stock they had, building social media, you know, like think about like older bookshops having to adjust to like the modern day times, right? Like most of these people, most of these owners that are older, they don't run social medias typically, you know what I mean? Like having to hire newer staff, you know, just it's a hard transition sometimes for older bookshops, and that's real, you know. So Jules is in a position where she's really trying to modernize but not take away the essence of the bookshop, and I feel like that's such a real thing, like even in this time as we are looking at the state of bookstores, the state of books, the state of literacy. It's important to make sure we hold on to what has always been, but also make improvements where we need to make improvements, so that people are continuously supporting bookshops, you know? So on that front, like totally real, totally get it. But I mean, it is a good book. Like I am enjoying it. It's just like a little rendition of R&J, and I think it's funny. So like I said, I'm 44% in of the book now at this point, but I unfortunately do need to stop reading because we do have to get up and we do need to start getting this day started. I have so much to do, guys. I have so much to do, and we're just gonna have to break it down into reasonable tasks and just get it done. But with that, we're probably gonna have a bit of an audiobook morning, because yeah, until I can take a break later, I honestly just don't have time to sit and like keep reading. Like I told you guys, the First Ladies really gripped my attention. I am a couple chapters into that book. In fact, we can look and see how far I'm into the First Ladies right now. I could pull it up on Libby. All right, so for the First Ladies, I am 17% in with the book, and I'm really loving this book so far. I have a feeling what's going to end up happening is I'm going to lean more into this book today than Hexed. Maybe later in the evening we'll read Hexed, I'm pretty sure. But right now, like, I'm just locked into this book. This is so good. This book, in short, is really talking about the friendship and the partnership of Mary McLeod Bethune and First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. And so, like, just on paper, like, it's a very not strange, I don't want to use that word, but it's a friendship that you're just kind of like, what? Very unconventional, because at this time they are both supporting two different political parties, but yet they both have this mission of trying to elevate the experience of the woman in the United States, right? They are for women's rights. They're trying to support smaller organizations that are working to elevate women's rights. In the case of Mary McLeod Bethune, at this point, she has founded her college, Bethune, at this time is Bethune College. And Eleanor has become, well, at this point in the book, she's actually not first lady. She is governor's first lady. So like Franklin is now the governor of New York at this point of where I'm in the book. So he's not president. I say this to say like it's going back and forth between the two POVs of Miss Bethune and Eleanor. And like we're not very far into the book in the sense of like they just met a couple of chapters ago. And then in the latest chapter from Mary's POV, she was saying how though Eleanor and her never got a chance to like have a good conversation after their first meeting, they've kept in contact via letters. And when they're in the same like events, they get to say hi and stuff. You know, they don't get a chance to like have a full conversation anymore. So like they've stayed in contact from their initial first meeting at a luncheon hosted by what's her name? Eleanor's mother-in-law, Mrs. Roosevelt. I really lost my train of thought, guys. That's awkward. Anyways, so just know that this book is pretty good. I'm very curious to see how these women write this book. I'm very curious because I did like the personal library. I've been trying to upload this video 3 times for tomorrow and it has not uploaded successfully. So I'm going to delete the upload, re-upload it, redo the description box, re-add the thumbnail and all of that. The video I'm putting up is like a get to know me video. That should be going up tomorrow. So I need to make sure that that is like good to go. Okay, I do not need any issues with that video. But I'm going to be listening to the first ladies while we do this. And then we'll probably talk in a little bit. So I'll see y'all soon. Okay guys, so we've been reading for a little minute. I have the video scheduled. I have the reel. Actually, the reel should be live now. No, I'm sorry. The YouTube short should be live now. The reel goes live in a second. So those things are done for today. So all things Bookstagram and so forth are done. I did just want to stop and tell you guys that I'm really enjoying this book, okay? Like the First Ladies looks like it's going to be such an adventure for me to read. Like I'm so excited. Now I will say at this point in the book I am at chapter 19, so I'm like 28% into the book. And yeah, this is really good. I love the fact that we get alternating POVs of both Mary and Eleanor. I think that's so essential to the book. I know that's like the whole point, but I just feel like there's no other way the story could be told well if it wasn't with the alternating POVs. So at this point we are in 1932. It's September 29th, 1932 is where I just stopped. And so at this point, Eleanor has invited Mary to come hang out with her in New York for a little bit to talk with the hopes of getting Mary's support in supporting the Democratic Party because Franklin's about to run for president. Up until this point, the typical Black vote was for the Republican Party due to Abraham Lincoln and forging that relationship back then. And it's just been carrying through thus far. So Mary, like I said, Mary was very instrumental in making sure President Hoover was elected president with getting like registration done and really campaigning on his behalf. But since then, a lot has happened in that presidency that has now got the Black people outraged. I know history repeats itself, but hey, you know, ain't it crazy how history just be repeating itself time and time again anyways? So at this point, Mary and Eleanor have met in New York, and Eleanor is explaining to Mary that she would really, really love for Mary to consider supporting Franklin. And mind you, up until this point, they have grown in friendship. They haven't gotten a chance to sit down and talk a lot, but they've been exchanging letters and, you know, just really like having of like forging that deep relationship, right? And so without really thinking, Eleanor just like assumes that because they're friends, Mary's going to just be on board for Eleanor's idea. And Eleanor's idea is that with Franklin running for presidency and her and Mary being best friends, she can be instrumental in kind of swaying the black vote over to the Democratic Party. Now, that was a whole mess because Mary's whole thing was to, like, first of all, stop assuming. First of all, like, you did ask me, like, you just assumed I would do it, and that's just not how this is not how this is gonna work. And that's correct. And historically, and Mary says it in the book, but historically, white people always think they know what's best for black people. They always try to make decisions for us. And that's also a microaggression as well, because even just doing the simplest things of, well, I assumed that you would want, never assume. Ask directly. Like, when you are a white person, you're never allowed to assume with a black person. You are always to ask, you are always to get clarification, because that has historical trauma of black people's voices being stripped from them because white people try to overstep, even if they have good intentions. And Mary acknowledges this in the book. Eleanor had great intentions. The whole point is she was like, if I'm first lady and I have an agenda of my own that aligns with Mary's, if we work together to get my husband the presidency, I will have more power. Therefore, you will have more power for us to get things done in terms of getting that work done to further women's rights. Again, it's not like Eleanor had bad intentions at all. Like, her intentions were 100% on par. It's the way she went about it. And that's typically the problem that we see historically, is that there are times where the intention is right there. It's right there. It ain't bad. But how you went about it is not right, right? So that's something that, you know, they had a little riff about in their friendship, because Mary had to clarify that, like, Eleanor, we're friends, but you can't. Also, they kept politics out of their friendship up until now. So not only did Eleanor now bring politics into the conversation, she just assumed Mary was going to be on board for the campaign. And Mary was like, you should never do that. And so I really love that moment in time. I really love the fact that they had that dialogue, because that is important to talk about. That is important to make sure it is on the record. Stop assuming that you know what black people need, okay? Talk to them, ask them, just have a conversation. Anyways, moving forward. So at this point, Mary is watching the fact that President Hoover is really doing things that, or further encouraging things that are putting black people in really, really precarious situations. So it is getting to the point where she does have to make the decision of, okay, I have supported this man, and he's putting people in positions that are further disarming black people, you know, like they are already right there, not really fully being treated like true citizens already. Still, like, we're still fighting that fresh post-slavery, okay? We're technically still fighting post-slavery stuff, but like, this is fresh post-slavery, you feel me? Like, this is very much fresh, and we're still working through the turmoil of what that has done, right, to the black citizen. And so this is a huge step back to have President Hoover and people on his staff that are actively advocating for things that continuously harm black people, right? And then you have Franklin and Eleanor over there that's on the opposite party of what the blacks are comfortable with. But they're sitting here hoping that they can somehow find a way to use Mary, and not use in a bad way, but like use her voice, use her power, use her influence to help the black vote get swayed to the Democratic Party, because they have an agenda that will better serve the black people. So we're doing all this through the friendship of Eleanor and Mary right now. So that's where we've stopped. So that's where we've stopped in the book, and I'm very excited to keep reading. Like, I just kind of want to see how Mary handles this decision, what she's going to do with it, and so forth. And just continue to read about this story, because I think it's such a good point in that right when they felt like they were turning a corner in their friendship, they hit this wall, right? Like, they hit this wall where it's like, you know, Mary, she's upset about what Eleanor did, but in a way where she's just like, you just don't get it, right? Like, Eleanor, if we're going to be friends, you're going to have to accept having conversations that are tough. You're going to have to accept that it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to accept all these things about being friends with a black woman of power and influence. Like, you asking me to influence all these black folks that I told, you know, President Hoover got us, and clearly he don't. Like, you're expecting me to try to figure out how to sway them to the other side. So like, there is like a lot going on, and you know, it's like one of those things where the lines are blurred between their personal friendship and the political aspect of it too. Like now the two are getting more entangled, if you will, because the thing is, even though they aligned on a lot of things, like morally and such, they kept politics out of their conversations a lot of times because Mary pretty much knew that Eleanor knew that she was like very much Republican. Like she was just like, we ain't got to talk about it. Like we can still be friends, hopefully, even with these different political beliefs. Even so, like 2 chapters prior, Ku Klux Klan came to Bethune College and literally just tried to threaten them, just marched right on campus and marched right off. And these are moments where Mary's sitting here like, and you're trying to convince me to sway these black folk to this side where the KKK reside as well? Like, this is difficult. She's trying to get Eleanor to understand that there is more on the ground. There's more on the field that goes on than what she's aware of because she is a white woman that's always shielded from these things. Now, the beautiful thing about Eleanor Roosevelt is that she's willing and open to learn. And when you listen to things from her POV, she's just like, you can really tell that like, because she doesn't know, she really is racking her brain for like, okay, why is Mary upset? I said something to offend her. Let me ask how I offended her. And I think that's something where, controversial hot take, in general, we have to be a little bit more compassionate towards each other about. To us marginalized folks, you would want to believe that everyone should just know that the way we're treated is bad. But for people that literally lived in their little privileged bubble, they genuinely don't know. You gotta treat them like a sheltered small child. And I'm not saying that in a demeaning way. What I'm saying is you gotta treat them almost as if like they really don't know. It's not that they don't have the capacity and the intelligence. They have no experience. They have nothing to associate in their brain our lives, our experiences. They don't have that. And as much as we don't have the ability to understand and comprehend certain experiences that we are not able to see because of who we are as marginalized people. Does that make sense? So I think it's very important for us to be okay with knowing that it is frustrating when people are like, wait, what? You have to suffer in this way? Yes, we do, bro. And we always have. Like, yes, it is frustrating for people to have lived their lives where they were absolved and unaware of and didn't have to deal with the things we have to deal with. That's upsetting. I know it is. But also, like, realistically, how were they supposed to know? That is how they were raised, you know? And though we bring in the element of it's important to educate yourself, when you're in an environment that doesn't promote education of what's going on in life outside of your little bubble, your little privileged bubble, again, how does this happen? You know what I mean? It takes friendships like the Eleanor Mary bond to break through those barriers, right? Eleanor has lived a life where she's educated and very, very intelligent, right? We see that in how she talks about women's rights, and even the fact that she was the reason that Mary was invited to that initial luncheon. Well, she was part of the reason. It was really her mother-in-law, but she was a huge influence into having Mary in that room because she understands the power of Mary's position as a black woman who owns a college, who is technically Dr. Bethune. You know, she understands. And so she's like, I don't care if she's black. She's an educated woman, and I want her perspective on things because she should be sitting at the table with me. And I do think it's very powerful that that is Mary's stance on things. So it's like, Eleanor's stance on things, because those type of people are needed to help tear down these barriers. But also, Eleanor still has been raised a certain way, so we just can't fault her for not knowing everything. That's why she's bringing Mary in, right? So I think to a degree, we just have to be comfortable with being okay with having those conversations. It is exhausting. It's tiring. I'm tired of people asking, well, how does this happen? And like, why are black people afraid of the police? Like, sometimes it's just like, I mean, have you watched the news? Like, we get stepped on and killed every single day. But at the same time, for some people, it's still not clicking. And sometimes we just have to take a step back and swallow our anger for just a half a second and just say, this is why. Okay, these are the facts. This is how we got here. This is why we stay here. This is the cycle that we have to live in. This is our lived experience. There's your answer to your question. And in a way where it now invites conversation and dialogue, right? So I just love this because I'm an advocate for education, and I'm an advocate for explaining to people that we all have different lived experiences, and it's it's important to just learn. It's important to broaden your horizon, and not just broaden it, but take the knowledge you were given and make it equitable. But yeah, guys, I'm into it. I'm so into this. So we're gonna get out of bed because I've been in bed this entire time. We're gonna get out of bed. We're gonna start doing some work, and we're gonna get back to listening. And I'll talk to y'all later. Okay, hi friends. It's almost noon now, and I have read almost 50% of the book. So I was planning to stop when I got to a hard 40%, but I literally just kept reading. So I'm at 40, I think 47, 48% of the book. And like, I wanted to stop primarily because I kind of want to switch gears a little bit and listen to some music while I keep working, and also have a few phone calls I need to make, and just some things that I have to just kind of like do some like people interacting with. So I want to pause on a book, and also like I want to read it. Like I want to physically read it, and right now it's just not a good time to physically read it. So I think we're just going to take a pause on the audiobook for a minute. It literally has nothing to do with the book. It's the fact that like as I'm reading, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to keep reading this story like with my physical book in the bed. Like that's the vibe it's giving. Like I'm so locked into the story, but like I do not want to read. I don't want to listen to the whole thing. Like I want to read it. You feel me? So also I made these cute little Kindle inserts with Hunter x Hunter. If you guys are anime watchers, you most likely know what Hunter x Hunter is, but aren't these so cute? These are so freaking cute. I love them so much. They're two-sided. So if you get an insert, it's got both sides covered in beautiful Hunter x Hunter stickers, and I'm just kind of like into it, you know? So if y'all hear the dryer, I'm so sorry. Like I'm drying stuff that has like, you know how like buttons and zippers be like boop, boop, boop in the dryer? That's what's going on. So I'm sorry if y'all can hear that because it's just cling clanging in the background. I am so sorry. Because I am just working on so much merch right now. Like there's just so much going on in here. We have Kindle inserts getting worked on, new stickers that I'm working on, and we're working on nutcrackers. Do you guys want to see some nutcrackers? Let me show y'all what I'm doing. So this bad boy is a 24-inch nutcracker, and it's got like this maroon kind of a rose gold finish. And I just think he's so cute, but he's 24 inches. So this is the biggest size nutcracker that I'm working on. This one is not made to order. This one is going to be on my Etsy website literally probably in about 20 minutes once I take some pictures and stuff. So this one will be for sale if you're interested. There's only one of this. So if you see this and if you purchase it, congrats. You're gonna be the only one with this nutcracker, okay? There's another 24-inch one that I have. This one is probably one of my favorites so far. It's got the book jacket. Can you guys see that? It's got the book jacket. It's so cute. So this is made with old books that were water damaged. So these pages were just a little water damaged. And we took them and we repurposed into a beautiful jacket. Now, I actually am gonna make several versions of the book nutcracker. So though this is the only one of its kind, there's going to be several like kind of versions of this one. So if you go on my Etsy by tomorrow, you may see something different that I'm working on. This blue guy, isn't he so pretty? Like he is so freaking pretty. The only thing I have left to do is I got to paint the base. We're going to do the face and the sword. That I will be doing today, and then this one will be ready. So this one also will be on my Etsy store probably by tonight, maybe tomorrow, because this one is going to be the next one I work on. And I'm working on this bad boy. This one is like so cute to me. Like I'm kind of really obsessed with this one. So this one's a green and gold one. If you look really, really closely, it's like a metallic green on green. So it's monochromatic, but like not really monochromatic. You get what I'm saying? So there's that. I just got to clean up. I just got to clean it up a little bit. We got to fix the pants, clean up the pants, clean up just some tiny things. And then I'm going to work. And then we're going to work on the face, and then this one will be ready to go as well. This one should be on the Etsy store probably tomorrow as well, because once I finish the face, it'll be good to go. And just give it a good little cleanup. It should be fine. That's the 24-inch size. You'll also see a 14-inch size on Etsy as well as a 6-inch size. So there will be different sizes of the nutcrackers available for you guys if you're interested in ordering one. I'm gonna do orders all throughout the end of December because some people still keep their nutcrackers up. Some people do them year round. Some people just do them during the holiday season. So the link will be up. The nutcrackers that are on there will just be on there until they're sold out. But if you want a custom nutcracker, there are forums all over the place. It's on Facebook, Instagram. I've put the forum everywhere. But if you're interested, it'll also be in the description bar of this video. So you guys will get a chance to order a nutcracker. It's your favorite chia pet. So hey, listen, it is 3 o'clock now and I have hit a wall. I've been working on inventory. I have been working on these nutcrackers. I have not taken any pictures of them yet, but I need a break. I need a break. So I have some lunch. It's gonna be a little bit of a later lunch heating up right now. And I'm gonna eat that. And I'm gonna sit with my Kindle and read the Battle of the Bookshops for a little bit. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna read a little bit on my Kindle. I'm going shopping with a friend at probably around 4:30-ish. So eventually I do need to do something with my hair and face and like look like a presentable human being of society. You feel me? But until then, I am just gonna chill. So I think I'm just gonna take like 45 good minutes to just eat, read, relax a little bit. And then we will probably pause and get ready, and then we'll head out and go shopping. And later tonight we'll resume our activities. However, I don't think we've talked about the Battle of the Bookshops. So that's kind of what I want to do as well. Yeah, I think this is supposed to be like a cozy, cute little enemies to lovers situation, which, all right, cool, whatever. As y'all know, by tomorrow you'll know, I just like don't care about tropes. But like I don't mind an enemies to lovers situation. It's just, I think it's more so how it's written. And like in this case, like I think it was also addressed earlier in the book that like at one point they weren't necessarily feuding. They were just like both the families that kind of took over the town, like just had a huge influence on the town. And then I think, I can't remember where the beef started, y'all. It wasn't like talked about in depth, but at some point, like some 100 years ago or so, and then the beef ensued, you know what I mean? So it's not like they just like came out, you know, I don't know. It's just a lot. It's kind of cute. And you know what's interesting, what's keeping me going with this book, besides the fact that like I will finish it, but what's keeping me going is I do actually like the little competition between the two, right? Like it's kind of annoying because it's also like at y'all's big age, y'all really beefing over book source. But also, like, I get it. Like, at the same time, like, it's kind of cute. As someone that's very competitive, I find this kind of enjoyable. I just think it's very interesting how Roman literally put his bookshop, like, across the street from Thorne's. That, I feel like, was mad petty. And also, it's just funny because Jules is mad petty as well. Because, like, everything he does, she's like, I'm gonna do it better. And it's like, girl, you got, like, $2. Like, sis. And it's just so funny. But it's like, I'm enjoying it for the competition aspect of it. Like, these bookstores like fighting against each other, and like the people are none the wiser, right? Except the local townspeople. They do feel like they owe on Flo and Jules their support because they've been customers, but also like Roman's new bookshop is like new, shiny, got all the modern things. And so it really is funny. Like I will say that comedic aspect is pretty funny. Regardless, I was just letting y'all know I'm gonna read a little bit and we gonna see about it. But yeah, I'll talk to y'all later. Hi friends, it is now 4:30 and I need to get dressed like right now. So we're gonna get dressed and get our makeup done, and we're gonna keep listening to the First Lady. So get ready with me, I suppose. Hi friends, so it is a little past 8 p.m. and we're back from shopping. We went shopping for a little bit just to look for some things. Me and my friend have several events that are coming up, so we were just like, let's go to the mall. You know what I miss is like a good old-fashioned let's go to the mall and shop moment. You feel me? So yeah, we had a good time. Did I find anything? No. Tonight rather. So first things first, yeah, I'm just getting back. So I popped some popcorn because I'm not feeling like a heavy dinner right now. and maybe it's because I ate a later lunch right before we headed out. So I got some popcorn right here. I got 2 bags of popcorn actually, because I'm gonna mix them together. I have like 1 bag of kettle corn, 1 bag of movie theater popcorn. So we're just gonna do a little combine. So we're gonna eat some popcorn. We're gonna get back to working on the nutcrackers because I do want to take pictures of them in the morning. Ideally would be the goal. That's what we're going to do tonight. Also, I'm going to keep reading First Ladies because that's just where my head is at. Like, that's literally the mood right now. Like, I was like, ooh, we can get into Hexed tonight. We're not gonna get into Hexed right now. Okay, maybe later tonight, I don't know, but as of right now, like where I'm at in the story, like I need to keep reading. Okay, so it's like we're kind of going back and forth right now between, obviously we're going back and forth between POVs between Eleanor and Mary McLeod Bethune and so forth. But it's like right now, Franklin Roosevelt is president. I think I told you guys that he won the presidency at this point. So Eleanor is trying to figure out as first lady, like how can she kind of use her position to kind of further the agenda that she already had even before he became president. And like, this is where her and Franklin are starting to have a little bit of a pushback against each other. Mind you, they're only married legally. They are not married romantically. And it's because some years prior, he had been in an affair with her. I think it was it was one of her former employees, like a secretary of some sorts, I think. And like everyone knew except her. So like she agreed to just stay married to him more so for the image of it all and more so for her, you know, and the children versus like she forgave him. You feel me? So like they're not necessarily like romantically together. So like on other things, they still very much so align. So like politically, they've always seen eye to eye and he's always come to her for advice and so forth. But she's also realizing that she has her own thoughts and opinions that actually don't even match up with his at this point. And she's getting nervous because that's creating distance between the two of them, but it's also drawing her and Mary closer together. And she's trying to figure out as first lady, how can she kind of put these things together? Like how can she put Mary in spaces where her voice can be heard on behalf of the voices of other Black women and men and get in front of the president in order to further some agendas. Like it's a lot going on, okay? It's a lot going on. And I feel like we're really leaning more so into Eleanor right now because she is first lady and we're more so talking about like when Mary's coming to DC to visit Eleanor. Now, obviously it goes back and forth between Eleanor and Mary. So like we're still hearing like Mary's side of things as far as like her talking to like the head of the NAACP, you know, the founder of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, like people that would have just been in her circle at that time, like just talking to them and saying like, how can we get in these rooms? And her being careful about disclosing the fact that she's friends with Eleanor to certain people because she doesn't want that exploited. You feel me? So it's just like everyone's kind of in a delicate balancing act right now. And it's really fascinating. But overall, it's just in a place where I just kind of want to see how they're finna solve some things. We're working on, at this point in the book, we're talking about the anti-lynching bill. And President Roosevelt is really like not wanting to pass this because he's worried that he's going to lose the support of the Southern Democrats. And for him, that's more important. But for Mary, passing the anti-lynching bill is more important. I mean, not Mary. Well, yes, Mary, but Eleanor. That's more important. And so like we're having this divide now between the three of them with the anti-lynching bill. So I'm really curious to hear like how we're going to work through this. Like I'm locked in. So yeah, that's where we're at with the book. I'm going to finish working on Nutcrackers. I probably won't montage anything because it's going to be a little boring and it's mad chaos in here. Okay. Like I'm standing in one spot because it's like the only free spot on my carpet. Like there's nothing to montage that won't embarrass me. Okay. So we're going to work on that, but I will talk to you guys in a little bit. Probably once I wash my face, get my pajamas on and get in the bed, we'll probably talk because I'll probably do my laundry in the bed and we'll keep reading. Like I said earlier, I really wanted to sit and physically read this. So I wanted to slow down on this book and like switch over to Hex so that I can really enjoy the physical of this book in my bed. But like, we still have a lot of book to go. Like, I'm not going to miss out on the physical book experience by listening to it tonight. It's just, I'm in a place where this story is just, it's going. Okay. We just keep pushing through the storyline. And I'm in a place where I don't want to stop. Like, I don't want to stop. So yeah, that's what we got going on right now. But I'm really enjoying this book, guys. I'm really, really, really enjoying it. It's just kind of where my head's at right now. And that's kind of what I want to read. So with that, I'm just going to throw my headphones in and we're gonna start reading. So I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Good morning, guys. It is 7:10 the next morning. It's Saturday. I did not vlog again yesterday like I said I would, because quite literally I forgot. And yes, I am talking to you guys in the dark, but in short, I literally forgot, guys. Like, I started working on some things for my Etsy store, and then I was on the phone with one of my friends and just yapping my little heart out. And then after that, I got in the bed and I collapsed and went to sleep. So yeah, I will say, while I was still working on the Etsy store a little bit, I definitely did some reading on the First Ladies. And at this point, we are, I think, 75% done with the book, which is incredible. And we did not read too much more of the Battle of the Bookshops. We didn't read too much more of that, but let me see where we're at in the book. Okay, we are 44% in, so we haven't made too much progress with the Battle of the Bookshops, but it's quite all right. So I typically don't like waking up early on a Saturday, but it's going to be necessary today because we just have so much to do. I have to pack and clean because Thanksgiving week is upon us. Okay, we need to turn on the light. Alexa, turn on the light. Okay. I look so rough. We have so much to do, guys. We have so much cleaning to do. We gotta pack. We just gotta get seriously super organized because I'll be gone most of this upcoming week. Like, I will be gone. I'm really gonna shoot for trying to finish the First Ladies today and put a dent in Hexed. Hexed may be the book that I bring with me when we travel. We'll be traveling to Durham, North Carolina for Thanksgiving. So I may bring Hexed with me to read in the car, since I already have the audiobook of that and I can listen to that in the car in case I like, sometimes I like don't want to actually like have my head down. I want to like lay my head back and close my eyes in the car. So I think that would be a good book to have. And then I have plenty of ARCs on my Kindle, so honestly what I might do is just bring my Kindle. Maybe I'll just bring my Kindle and Hexed. There's gonna be no rhyme or reason to how we do things this morning, guys, so just bear with me. Just bear with me. It's cloudy, it's gross outside, my nose is stopped up, we have a laundry list of things to do, and yeah, we're gonna listen to the First Ladies while we get to it. I'm really thinking Hexed is gonna be my travel book. I don't know, because I'm like starting to really like get excited about Hexed. Like, I want to get back into it, but also like I'm in a place in the First Ladies where like I simply have to finish it right now. So we're just gonna see what the vibes are today. I may swap over to Hexed midday, who knows? I don't know, guys. Y'all know how I am. So like I want to get as much reading done as I possibly can, so like I have a minute to sit, or as much stuff done as possible so I can sit and read a little bit before Friendsgiving. But again, we'll just have to see how the cookie crumbles. But regardless, we're gonna get up and get this Saturday started. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys what I'm gonna use for my silk press, since I will be in the shower and you guys won't see the products I'm going to use. So depending on what style I would have had in my hair prior to me doing a silk press, sometimes I may do like some apple cider vinegar in my hair to really get it super duper clean. But only yesterday did I put gel in my hair, so I should have too much product buildup, so I should be able to knock it out without an ACV rinse. But I just kind of go off of what my hair feels like it needs and then just kind of go from there, because I don't want to strip it too much. So this, I say that, but what I'm about to say is going to sound extremely excessive, so bear with me, okay? Just bear with me. So I do 3 different shampoos, okay? Yes, 3. Let me explain. So we start off with a Pure and Clean by Garnier. I start off with this one, just a quick little rinse, just to get like, again, because normally before I do a silk press, I would have done something with my hair that requires a lot of gel. So I normally just kind of like use this to get like a lot of the good product out, like just start to get it really nice and clean. And then I go in with my Atelier Wajid Stimulating Herbal Cleanser. This one feels really good on my scalp, so I really exfoliate my scalp with this bad boy. Normally I use that combo just to really get my scalp nice and exfoliate it and so forth. And then I finish off with the Sleek and Shine. Now, sometimes I wait and hold off on this one until after I would have done a deep condition. So I use a bunch of deep conditioners. I don't really commit to one deep conditioner, but today we're going to use Jackie's Cocoa Cream, Cocoa Repair deep conditioner. We're gonna use this one. So that's the deep conditioner we're gonna use. After I get it all rinsed out, sometimes I go back in with just a tiny bit of shampoo because my hair will not silk press well if there's too much product, like conditioner and so forth, in my hair. So it really needs to be very lightweight. So after I do, because sometimes I get a little heavy-handed with my deep conditioner, ain't gonna lie to y'all. So after I do that, then I go in with the Sleek and Shine, just a tiny bit of it, after I've rinsed my hair out, just to make sure I get as much of that deep conditioner, that residue out as possible. Then after I do that, I go in with some conditioner. I know this is extra and I know there's better ways to do a silk press. This is just what works for me. So I just kind of go, and I have multiple ways of doing this, but this is the way I've been doing it for now. Just because these are the products I have. I try not to buy just like a bunch of hair products that I don't need. I try to buy only the hair products I'm going to need. So anyways, we go in with the Curl Nourish by Garnier as well. I actually really like to go in with the Sleek and Shine for my conditioner, but I've only had the Curl Nourish one, so I just use that one for now. It's whatever. Then once I'm done with that, we use a combination of different leave-ins. So we're just gonna see, again, I go off of how my hair feels. If it feels a little too stripped, then we're gonna go in with a little bit of my Blueberry leave-in conditioner. If it feels really good, like by the touch, if it's very soft and fluffy and like ready to go for a good blow dry, then we're going to use the Lavish Curls Moisturizer, which is technically like more of a refresh, but this actually works very well as a good leave-in as well. Sometimes I may put a dab of this with this on my hair, just depending, and then we'll let that sit on my head for a little bit, and then we'll go in with blow drying. So that's going to be the process, at least to get through the wash, the decondition, and the condition. As most people that have natural black hair know, it's a process, okay? Wash day is a process. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna get that done, and then while I'm doing that, I will have the book blasting in the shower so I can listen to it. I wouldn't be surprised if I get a good chunk of it done in the shower. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, because wash day's gonna be a minute. But anyways, I use a t-shirt, sort of like a similar, just a regular cotton t-shirt that's oversized to dry my hair. I do not use towels on my hair. And then after that, then we're gonna section detangle, and we're gonna move on with the steps and do some other stuff. So that is what I use for my wash and my condition for a silk press. Just thought I'd show you guys that. But yeah, I will catch you guys once we're done. Okay friends, so y'all just saw me detangle and condition my hair. So I have this cap on. We're going to sit it under the blow dryer for a little bit, and we're going to just let the heat give us a nice deep steam treatment, get all of this product penetrated into my hair. Just so you guys can see ahead, this is the heat protectant that I love to use. Like, I've used a lot of heat protectants, but this is definitely one of my favorites. As well as, I've had this for a while. It's the Freeze Be Gone Giovanni Hair Serum. This is the one I've been using a lot of, but I do love Cheese. I do love BioSilks. I love hair serums. Like, I don't really have a favorite hair serum. It's just, this is the one I've had, so it's the one I've been using. However, we're gonna sit under the cap for about, I'd say a good 30-ish minutes, maybe. And while we do that, I'm going to work on putting pictures on Etsy and just making sure everything's good to go for today's video. And I'll probably work on editing another YouTube short as well, and just kind of get some things done while I can sit still. It's too loud, so I probably will sit with my Kindle too and read a little bit once I get those tasks done. So that'll give me an opportunity to read the Battle of the Bookshops a little bit, because I'm very curious to see what Jules and Roman are up to today. Well, hello, book friends. You guys have been probably watching me flit around the kitchen and living room all morning long. And there is indeed football on. So there is football on my TV. However, our game has not yet started. So I think what I'm going to do for a little bit is listen to the First Ladies while I finish up some stuff on some of my nutcrackers. The green one is turning out so good. I absolutely love it. I just have to put his beard on. And then we're going to spray him down and he will be good to go. He will be on the website pretty soon. So I'm feeling really good about it. I also started working on this chocolate nutcracker. How cute is this one? I'm obsessed already. So like we got the base of this one done this morning. You guys probably saw it already. We got the base of this one done. And then later on, we will work on the base of it and we will work on the skin. And then once that dries, we'll do all the fun things like the face and the hair and stuff. So when it comes to the First Ladies, this book has been quite a journey. Like, I'm pleased with the book. You know what I mean? Like, it's not heavy, as I said earlier. It's not heavy at all. It's like lighthearted enough, but yet real. And I really like it. Like, I'm very much enjoying this. So there's not really much to talk about with this book right now as far as like plot, other than at this point, President Roosevelt has entered his second term of presidency, and he is also, there's talk about a third term at this point, but people are just like, is he gonna run for a third? Is he not? Black people are not necessarily fully satisfied with what they've seen from him, but yet Mary McLeod Bethune is the reason why a lot of them shifted. So like she's feeling a lot of pressure to make sure that he lives up to the things he promised the Negro community, as well as things are still, you know, she's having a lot of financial strains back in Daytona at Bethune College. So it's just like, there's just things happening. It's like at this point, we're 10 years into the friendship of Eleanor and Mary. So that's kind of where we are. It's like, there's not like a whole lot of big things to talk about with this book. It's just, I'm very much so enjoying the book. So we're going to listen to that. I'm literally about to turn the game down and just watch it and read a little bit and keep working on these nutcrackers, and then hopefully we'll be done with the First Ladies today. That would be like absolutely amazing if we can finish that one today, but we'll see. So we'll come back in a little bit. So I think I told you guys earlier that I have a Friendsgiving to go to today, right? So first of all, I fell asleep. I have like 2 chapters left of the book and I fell asleep. Like, oh my gosh, I literally dozed off and it's been like over an hour. So that's problem number 1. Problem number 2, I have to bring a dish to Friendsgiving, at least a dish. And yeah, I don't have anything prepared. So we're about to, guys, this is so nuts. We're about to go to the store because I'm gonna do some desserts real fast. We're gonna bring some desserts, I think. I don't know what else I can bring. We're just gonna take a look. We're gonna probably do like a Speedy Gonzalez cooking. We're gonna do some Speedy Gonzalez cooking because it's 3:15 and Friendsgiving starts at 6 and I need to leave here at like 5:15 and I still have to finish getting ready. So yeah, let's go on an adventure. Hello, my lovely book friends. It is past midnight on Saturday. And last I left y'all, I was Speedy Gonzalez in the kitchen because I think I told y'all, I like got a text. So it's a Friendsgiving I was invited to, but like I got a text that like I was supposed to bring something. Like everyone needs to contribute basically. And like, I was literally just gonna come to the Friendsgiving. Like I didn't specify that I'd be bringing anything. So I had enough stuff in the pantry to like throw something together, right? But I had to go get like butter and some things because I basically did banana pudding and then I did like a cheddar bay biscuit chicken pot pie situation. If you want that recipe, let me know, I got y'all. And so I like whipped that up together. I literally got that done in like 45 minutes. So that left me with very little time to get ready. So I didn't get a chance to like film very much. I think you guys probably saw a little bit of me in the kitchen, but I was like filming. And then after a second, I was like, I just gotta lock in and get ready to go. So yeah, but it was a lot of fun. We had a blast. So yeah, unfortunately, guys, I didn't get a chance to like talk to you guys. And also, like earlier today, I literally like laid down so that I could read, and I fell asleep. Like, what the heck, Amani? Like, y'all, I fell asleep, and I was out for like an hour and a half. So that's why when I got that text when I woke up about bringing a dish, I was like, oh my god. And yeah, had I not fallen asleep and taken that nap in the middle of the day, this would have been a completely different day for sure. But alas. So I just finished the book, so let me bring you back up to speed. So on the way there, I was on the phone, so I didn't get any reading, like I didn't get to listen to the audiobook while I was headed to Friendsgiving. But on the way back, I was listening because earlier today I was listening and reading and I fell asleep. So by the time I woke up, the last 4 chapters in the epilogue were already like, you know how Libby's like the end with the credits? I was like, I didn't finish this. So I had to go back 3 chapters and listen and kind of hear how the story, ended. So I literally just re-listened to the last 3 chapters in the epilogue, and also I just listened to the historical note. Pro tip, if you are a historical fic person, / even if you're not, honestly, if you're just reading a historical fiction, I urge you to take the time to go beyond the epilogue and read any historical notes, any author's note about the research process, anything like that, because you'll find a lot of hidden gems in the historical notes, the author notes, whatever comes like after that epilogue. In this case, it was a historical note. Read that because you will find out so much. And sometimes I think that like it just gives you really good insight into not only the author's plan for the book, but like the actual people we're reading about, right? Because oftentimes these are based on real events, real people, real situations, right? So I just really urge you, if you do not do that already, which I think you should, consider doing that. Like it really changes the game for you. give me a second, guys. I'm gonna finish this rant, but I want to get in pajamas, so hold on a minute. Okay, so this book, now that I'm done with it, I really think I'm going to give it a 4.5. That's what I'm feeling. And I mean, truly, it was an amazing story. I absolutely loved it. Like I already told you guys, was the fact that we got both POVs from Eleanor and Mary. And I think that's so essential because I think it really painted the picture of what was going on for both of them, because it's about two women. And not only that, but in a time where having an interracial friendship like theirs, it's a no-go, right? Like, we're still dealing with Jim Crow South, and just because Eleanor arises during the story to become the First Lady of the United States for 3 straight terms does not mean that she is above the law as far as it relates to interacting with Negroes. I think it's very important that we got both POVs, and I think that made this book so good. It would have been impossible to write this story from one POV, and I just don't think it would have hit the same had it been from a narrator's POV. You feel me? Like, it just made sense. Especially because there's times where Mary and Eleanor are not in the same city. You know, like there are times where Mary's in Daytona and Eleanor's in DC. While they truly were friends, what the authors had to struggle with is the fact that it was really hard to find a lot of information about their interactions because a lot of it wasn't documented for their safety. They pulled from I can't remember if he wrote a book. I think he wrote a book. But Mary Bethune's grandson. They pulled from a lot of stuff from him, from newspaper articles, from being able to track down letters that the women had written each other over the years and so forth to kind of help guide their research and guide the book, which I think is very important to note. So I think that's why it's such a beautiful, lighthearted story, because what we get to see is what probably did happen, though we can't get a lot of confirmation with certain, and I mean, like, it's not even big things. It's like, just like little things, like eating at certain restaurants, or like, you know, like, it's just not like big things that they like really kind of filled in the gaps, but it was just like, it's just really cute to kind of or think through what they probably did in these moments where they got together and talked, you know, under the radar. Like, it was really cute to kind of envision what they probably were doing, having to eat like at a table that's like, you know, in the far back of the restaurant so that no one sees them. Probably thinking, it's the First Lady of the United States. They knew who she was. You know, not really. You know, like, Eleanor was the First Lady. Who they knew was Franklin, right? And who they knew was Mary McLeod Bethune often. Like, Eleanor really was, for a little bit, in the shadows of both Franklin and, to a degree, Mary. Like, she did make a name for herself, and because of her advocacy with the development and the advancement of the Negro people, with Eleanor advocating for those things alongside Mary, and with Mary really like advocating for the Roosevelts, obviously, yes, Eleanor starts to build a name, she starts to build a reputation for herself. But like, oftentimes in certain situations, people saw Mary McLeod Bethune first, or they would see Eleanor first and assume Mary McLeod Bethune was like not supposed to be there. It was just very interesting. This book was just very interesting. Like, I really could go on a long rant about this, but I will not do that to you guys. Something I also really appreciated about this book was just the honesty of really talking about what it was like for Mary to have to balance so many different aspects of her life. Like, she's developing professionally in so many ways. Personally, she's having so many struggles because her son is still very much so of the belief of what he has known and not embracing the change. And Mary's trying to be very innovative and just tell the Black voter, you know, the Black person, like, hey, if we want change, this is how we're going to get it done. This is going to be the way. It doesn't look like what we've experienced before, but we have to try something new so that we have something better, you know. And it's just very interesting to watch her struggle kind of with balancing all of that, right? Like, trying to have, I just can't even imagine having thousands upon thousands of Black people like trusting you and like believing in what you're telling them, you know, and you have the President of the United States and his wife trusting your opinion as well. Like, that's a lot. But I'm glad we got at least as best of a look as we could get about what Mary could have potentially been feeling, how her position probably was conflicting in a lot of ways. And we do get to see that between her and Eleanor, how they do butt heads sometimes, right? Like, this isn't just some sweet love story between two girls that, you know, are just besties for the resties forever. Yes and no. Like, we do get to watch them have tense moments. We do get to watch them have arguments. We do get to watch both Mary and Eleanor struggle with not trying to overstep each other, not trying to offend each other, but also stand for what's right for themselves. Like, I think it's a really, really well balanced book. I really do think it's beautiful. And I do think that this would make a good book club read, especially if you're in a book club that has a diverse population. I think it would be a great read because Eleanor says a lot of things, Mary says a lot of things I think both people could learn from, truly. It just was a really good book, guys. Like, I really have not much else to say about it other than I very much so enjoyed listening and learning and reading about Eleanor and Mary's friendship and just how truly secretive it really was. I guess reading it in the book, you're like a fly on the wall, you know what I mean? So you're with them all the time, but then like to have to step back out and read the historical note and just remember like half of this was our imagination because we don't know all of their cool adventures that they really got to do because they couldn't talk about it because it was literally not allowed. Like, it's nuts, bro. It's nuts. I don't know, guys. It was a beautiful book. It truly was such a beautiful book. Right now I'm sitting on a 4.5 with it. I think it was absolutely beautiful. I think it was so heartwarming. I just think it was a really good historical fiction. Like, again, I've said this multiple times, but not all historical fiction seem to be just so dense and so drab and heavy with the history. Like, it doesn't always have to be like that. And so I think taking a story like this that not many people, if anyone, ever talks about, something not well researched, something that's kind of like hidden in the corners of history, right? Like, cobwebs are covered all over this friendship. No one talks about this. And even with that, this book talks a lot about things about Eleanor. We all know there's so much about the Roosevelts and Eleanor specifically, but there's also so much about Eleanor that wasn't talked about because it was controversial. You know what I mean? So I just think this book did both of these women well. They were well written, well respected, held in good regard, and yet very real. You know, like, it was just, I don't know, guys. I really enjoyed this book. I will go back and annotate this one. I will definitely be doing that for sure, because there were a lot of good things in there where, because I was just reading through the book, I was like, dang, I should have like set aside some annotation stuff so that I could annotate it. Maybe that'll be a little project that we do next weekend and go back and just annotate the book. I don't know, we'll see. But other than that, it was amazing. It was a good journey. I am actually about to get into bed and wind down a little bit. So I'm going to read a little bit of the Battle of the Bookshops tonight. And just like until I fall asleep, I'm just going to read a little bit of that. It probably won't take too long because it is late and I do have to get up early. But regardless, it is part of my routine. So I think it's just going to help me kind of like get ready to go to sleep. But other than that, guys, this was fun. This is going to be the end of part 1 of this reading vlog. We are going to pick it back up tomorrow and continue on with Hexed because we did not read Hexed at all in this part 1, okay? So we're going to pick it up with part 2, read Hexed, and try to finish up the Battle of the Bookshops, and we'll just kind of go from there. But this was fun, guys, and I'll see y'all in part 2. Good night!